Hi, Kama.
Hey, Cat.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I haven't done your full intro yet. I just kind of told them that you were on my first scrimmage team and now you're on my gold team.
Oh, yeah. What's up, guys? How's it going?
So for those of you that don't know, Kamalani Dung, she started her career at Fresno State, finished at Cal. She's been a two-time All-Region pitcher. Won the Mountain West Conference. I'm guessing as a freshman, right?
Yes.
Okay, as a freshman. Pitched the first perfect game in Cal history since 2010, which is a pretty cool deal. Cal's had some great pitchers, so that's a fun experience. And then obviously part of one of the, what do we have, 13 pitchers here at AU, and on my team gold this week. So I kind of mentioned before you jumped on, so the people knew that you were from, well, Hawaii. You say it with the proper breakup.
That's Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii.
And obviously I know being a coach and stuff that, I don't think a lot of great instructors go out to Hawaii a ton. And so, when I was watching film of one of your first games for Athletes Unlimited, when Eric Collins called you the YouTube pitcher, I was like, wait, what? So I know obviously you were self-taught. So can you talk to our followers and just the pitchers that are here about kind of what you did to develop as a pitcher? Because yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming there's not a ton of pitching coaches in Hawaii, and
Yeah, so I want to say that there's more softball presence in Hawaii now. There's so many talented softball players, but there's more knowledge and softball exposure happening in Hawaii right now at the moment. But back when I was growing up and when I was trying to get recruited to college, I didn't have the opportunity to deal with pitching coaches that I see out now that I live in California for school and stuff. There's pitching coaches on every corner, and you can go to amazing pitching coaches, and you can just pay for lessons. And back in Hawaii, that wasn't really an option when I was growing up. And so my family, so my story is I started with softball. I started pitching one day, and I ended up being decently pretty good. It wasn't like this thing where I was just like out of the womb, like, oh my God, she's amazing. It's like I started off, I was so interested in pitching, and over time I developed and I worked harder. I want to say that I worked harder than my competition at every level. So I want to say that being called the YouTube pitcher is because me, my mom, my dad, we went online, searched up some videos, watched how people were throwing things, and kind of went outside, and I practiced every day. When I was younger, I practiced every day for hours. My parents would lock me outside the house, and I would just throw at the side of our shed, and just no one would even catch for me. They would just have me throwing, and I would just have my arm going for hours and hours, and I wasn't allowed to come back in. I was just going. Like, it's a funny story now that we think back at it, but I really think those are some of the moments that excelled me and made me the pitcher that I am today. And so it's funny, throughout my younger years, yeah, I was kind of just watching people. I want to say that you were definitely one of the people that were my inspirations while I was growing up. And it's just watching older pitchers and watching college pitchers and now professional pitchers and kind of just mimicking what I saw. So I was really good at adapting and trying to figure out what works for me, which is why I had terrible mechanics going into college, but for some reason it worked because it was just something that worked for me. But once I got older, when I was in high school, my older years after I was recruited going to college, then that's when I started to be able to work with pitching coaches who really took me to the next level. So before that, I want to say I was a good thrower. I threw hard. I knew how to hit spots. I knew how to adapt. I would be able to get myself out of jams because I figured out how to do that on my own. But where I really got separated from good to my better self is when I started dealing with pitching coaches who could really hone in, tell me what to do, help me understand my body, my timing, and everything. And there's so many amazing pitching coaches that helped me as I got older. So, yes, I was a YouTube pitcher when I got young, but I just want to make sure that they get their recognition too, because I did not do this all on my own.
Yeah. Talk about it. Like, I practiced yesterday. I mentioned it to Kelly Barnhill actually while we were sitting there watching you throw a little bit, or maybe it's 2 days ago when we were scrimmaging. Obviously, you're not the 6-foot frame of a pitcher. You're a little bit shorter in stature, and obviously very fit. But you throw hard. Like, you significantly throw harder than I do. I can't touch above 65, to be honest. maybe once a day I can throw a little. What do you feel? I know you mentioned you've kind of always been a thrower, or you were a thrower, and so you threw hard. But like, what do you feel attributed to your speed, so to speak, throughout your career?
So I want to say that that's a really good question. I'd say that I wasn't always the fastest thrower. When I was younger, I threw hard, but it wasn't someone where I would be like Kelly Barnhill, where it's like, she's throwing 70 and we're only in high school. She's a phenom. It was kind of growing into my body, and the stronger and the older I got, the better I got at throwing harder. And I think it also has to do with the fact that my windup is a little weird. It's a little quick down, up. So I think that it's me putting 100% of my effort into every pitch, because I have always been doubted because of my size. People are always like, oh, like, I expected you to be taller, or like, oh, since you're only like 5'7", 5'6 3/4" or whatever, they're like, oh, I expected you to be like a little bit more meatier or something. And I think that my speed just comes from the fact that every pitch I'm using 100% of what I have to offer and throwing it into the pitch. So I feel like I do a good job of not wasting a lot of energy, even though I still, of course, I could still be better about some of my mechanics and stuff.
I love that, though, because I think we tell so many young pitchers want to throw hard, and I'm constantly like, let yourself grow, let yourself get into it. And so for you to like realize that, like, okay, yes, you threw hard, but not as hard as you do now, but it's because you grew and because you got stronger naturally almost. So many people, so many people want to skip that step. I'm like, you're 12, like, let yourself mature.
Yes, I say just keep putting 100% effort into what you have going, and over time, as you grow older and as you recognize your body and understand yourself more, then I feel like the speed will come.
Yeah. Let's talk about your getting recruited and your college career. Obviously, being from Hawaii, did you play for a travel team in the mainland?
Yeah, so I played for my Hawaii teams, Milani Prep, other teams, and I would fly up to California for summers and play with Bat Busters and Team Mizuno. They were making a transfer at that time, so Mike Stith in SoCal. So I would come up, live in the mainland, and we rented out an apartment, no furniture. We would just sleep on the floor, sleep on blow-up mattresses, and try and get recruited. And this was back when people were getting recruited in like 6th grade, 7th grade. So me as a sophomore coming out there, moving into my sophomore year, I was actually really late. So a bunch of people were like, oh, who is this random like small pitcher who's extremely fiery on the mound? And that's when I met Coach Ford, and that's another thing that I think a lot of young athletes should really think about, is the fact that they need to go to a school that's the right fit for them. So there were a lot of options on the table for me. I was a little late, so it was kind of me just understanding and picking out a school that was the right fit for me, and then over time it'll work itself out.
Nice. So you were at Fresno for 2 years, assuming you left because Coach Ford left?
Yeah.
How do you feel, and Coach Ford obviously now at Arizona State, and I know she's kind of like a pitching guru, so to speak. Do you feel, what did you learn in your first 2 years that you felt, I guess, really kind of escalated your game for then obviously moving into the pack once you transferred to Cal?
I want to say that understanding my body and mechanics, because when I first went to Coach Ford, she was cracking up at me. My drag would go straight off of the mound. If this is the mound, it would go like this, like just directly off to the side. It wouldn't even go straight on the line at all. It would just go straight to the side. So she was like, girl, you need some help. She's like, I got you. So we worked a lot on me trying to get my energy moving forward and trying to get my body mechanics a little better. And it's kind of, it's kind of funny because a lot of people don't know this, but I've had 5 different pitching coaches for the 5 years that I have been in the college scene. It's kind of crazy, and each of them have had a completely different philosophy, so I feel like I've learned a lot from all of them, and I've taken a little bit of every one of them to become who I am right now.
That's awesome. So you transfer to Cal, get to the pack, throw the first perfect game since 2010. Let's talk about that moment for you.
That was a really fun moment. That moment was actually in front of my family. This was like one of the first games my family has ever seen me play. and my whole family was there, and I threw my perfect game. And it was actually kind of crazy because in the very last at bat is when I realized that it was a perfect game. And I loaded the count 3 balls. So I was like about to ruin my perfect game with a walk. So I was stressed out. So I just kept throwing balls down the pipe. I was like, if she's gonna, like, I am not gonna walk this girl, and I'm not gonna let the umpire decide by fate here. So I was just hammering balls, and it was just like a long at bat. She kept fouling them off. I'm like, just hit it in play, please. Like, that's do awesome. Something. And then I think she ended up popping it up or something, and that's one of my favorite memories, just because my family was there and it was just a huge moment. It was really full circle. That's
cool. That's very cool. I think people forget that, like, while we're in pitching, we're not really paying attention to everything going on in the game. So sometimes
yes,
it takes someone like telling you or looking at the scoreboard and realizing, like, oh, this is going on.
Like, yeah, it was the weird vibe because we were already up, but like everybody, both teams were kind of on their toes and like really focused on the game. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, why is everyone acting a little weird? Like, at this point, It's the bottom of the 7th. Like, nobody really cares at this point with the score where it's at. And then I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to walk this girl and ruin my perfect game.
Got it. All right. So you're here at Athletes Unlimited with me and everybody else. I've been observant of you. I feel like you're one of the most observant people I've been around, which is awesome because you're like watching what other pitchers are doing and then you want to talk about it. So I feel like you have a very open mind to like constantly learning. Talk about kind of what your mindset was coming in here, what you've learned. I mean, I love talking to you. So like just share what the 2.5 weeks have been like.
No, I think that for everyone that's watching right now, Cat definitely has the mind, like the next level mind of a pitcher. Like if we're talking like high level minds, we're talking about Cat right now because there's moments where I'm thinking certain things, but you'll say it, and you'll say it so confidently. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, I was thinking that, but like that was a great observation. And I think that coming into Athletes Unlimited, I knew that I was going to be dealing with the best of the best. Like there's some huge names here, and I've seen everybody pitch before, but I've never actually got to meet everyone personally. So I knew that coming in, I was going to be really open to learning from everybody because I know that everybody's been to World Series, been World Championships. You've been to the Olympics. So, I mean, I'm the type of person where even though I'm here as a pro athlete and I know that I can compete, I'm not thinking that I'm the best person here. Like I'm here and I'm going to be confident in my abilities, but I'm also not going to take away the fact that I'm playing with some of the best people in the world. And how cool is that? Like I can learn so much from everybody here. So that was kind of my mentality coming in, was to just learn as much as I can, especially like establish relationships. And I've noticed that all of us are a lot more similar than I thought we were going to be. Like we're kind of like 56 of the same people, but with like a little bit different personalities. It's pretty awesome.
It is. It's fun. So let's just go kind of some pitcher quick fire questions. I guess we can go to, this question can be twofold: favorite pitch in college and favorite pitch now.
Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, favorite pitch in college would probably be my rise ball for majority of the time, but senior year was my drop ball. Okay. And favorite pitch right now is probably my screwball, which is so weird.
I saw you put on, I guess it's probably here on Instagram, where you were like, I don't give my screwball love. I need to give it some love.
No, I don't give my screwball love at all. I barely even warm it up. I'm like, that pitch is just there. Like, it's there to get me through the game. And, like, the other pitches are my fancy, like, salt on top of the meal. But my screwball has been holding so strong right now, and it's been doing really good for me and really keeping me in the game. So I'm very thankful for that.
That's awesome. Let's take the no-hitter out, or the perfect game, out of the equation, because we already talked about that. Other than that moment, what's your best softball pitching moment?
Best softball pitching moment has to come from playing U of A my senior year. I think they were ranked like number 5, number 1 at the time, and they were on like a 21-game win streak or something. And we were definite underdogs, expected to get smashed that game. And we ended up winning. I threw 9 innings of shutout, and the pitch that got me out of the game was my drop ball, and that was a pitch where I'd been working on it all year, and I just learned it that year. So it was just a huge moment because Joey called it with runner on third, full count. So I was like, if I miss this, we'd lose the game. But if I hit this, this is huge for me because nobody understands. But that drop ball is something I was working so hard on. So she called it, nailed it, struck her out, and then we ended up going on. The team had like the momentum, hit a ball, won the game. It was awesome.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So much fun.
So I didn't mention in the intro, you play for Puerto Rico internationally. Talk about your favorite moment playing internationally.
Favorite moment internationally had to have been winning the gold medal at the Central American Games. They're just so passionate out there. Down in like the Southern Americas, it's just incredible. Like there were so many people there. It was by far one of the biggest moments of my life. I'll remember that forever. Like the opening ceremony was like 60,000 people, and then the game we ended up winning. It was just, that's definitely one of my favorite international memories, even though there's a lot of fun ones internationally.
Yeah, it's fun to play there. I remember 2003 in Dominican. I'm pretty sure it was like Cuba or the Bahamas like brought drums in with them.
Yes, the vibe is something that is I've never experienced anywhere else except for international ball.
Yeah. Have you played over in Japan where they have like the guys?
Yes. I was at World Championships in 2018, and Japan is another cool one because their fans are really diehard. Like, they have like a bunch of little signs and they storm you after the game. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's fun. International is fun. All right. My 20% battery at 20% popped up. We'll wrap this up. If you can give young pitchers one piece of advice or two pieces of advice, what would it be?
I'd probably say to be able to be open to learning and to adapt, and to also just work harder than your competition. I feel like those are the things that really got me to where I am today, is work so hard that you have the confidence in yourself every time you step on that mound. Just work. If you're not the starting pitcher, or if you're not getting the results that you want, go back, go to the field when nobody else is watching, when nobody else is there, and just work harder. Work hard, and it'll eventually start to show on the field. It's really as simple as that. The harder you work at the right thing, the more results you'll get. And the second piece is obviously being open-minded and adaptable. Just where I am right now. I'm playing professionally, but open-minded, adaptable. Maybe my pitches weren't working as well as I wanted them to in the beginning, so I adapted. Now my screwball is my best pitch. Like, you just have to go with the flow, be open-minded, learn from the best of the best, Miss Cat Osterman herself, and just be a sponge. So I'd say that those are my pieces of advice. Be a sponge, open to learning and adaptable, and work harder than your competition so you have the confidence in yourself.
I love it. That's why I chose you, because you exude the confidence. I'm like, let's go. As soon as you joined that Zoom room, I was like, I need innings. You were like, I got you. I'm like, all right, we're going. Well,
yep, I got you. I'll figure out a way. Might not always be the prettiest, but I will figure something out.
Let us figure it out. Any way possible. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me. So everyone watching knows we play at 6:30 Central Time tonight on ESPN3. Hopefully you'll get to see both of us throw tonight for Team Gold, but I appreciate you joining me in the first of this kind of series I'm going to try to do. And
cool.
Yeah, and I love your work ethic. Obviously, I've only been around you a little bit, but I think your story shows, like, the work ethic I've seen, it explains why. So I think that's probably one of your biggest assets, and I'm excited to see what you do this weekend. So thanks for joining me.
Thanks for picking me. See you guys tonight.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.